Great, hello, and a very warm welcome to Full Fibre Wacky Races, Part 3. Before I dive into the Full Fibre Wacky Races, I want to share Zen Internet's new purpose statement, which is, do right for people and planet. So, importantly, our purpose has not changed, but based on an employee vote, we thought that this was a better way of describing our purpose. And our purpose is all about putting people and the environment first and money second. So let's dive into the Full Fibre Wacky Races. And I want to start off where I left off last year with Full Fibre Wacky Races 1 and 2. This is the last slide that I presented last year at Connected North and at London Internet Exchange 122. And it was looking at, with all this altnet activity, what is the opportunity for Zen? And at the time I said, we've got 2 infrastructure partners, Openreach and CityFibre, and we're actively exploring the possibility of partnering with others. Now, in the last year, a lot has happened in altnet world and a lot's happened in Zen world, and that actively exploring the possibility has developed and evolved into our new strategic ambition, which is to become the UK's altnet aggregator of choice in the channel. That is our ambition. Where are we today? Well, if our channel partners or ISPs connect to Zen today, then they can sell the Openreach network. As of next month, they'll be able to sell the CityFibre network. Then they'll be able to sell the Trooli network, the Freedom Fibre network. We have agreed heads of terms with 2 other altnets. We're finalising the contract with those. So there'll be at least those 6, and then we're discussing with several others. So that's our ambition. And the next question is, well, what about the big consolidation? How does that affect our strategy to be an altnet aggregator? And here's Matthew Hare, the executive chairman of Zzoomm, who says there's likely to be more consolidation over the next 2 to 3 years, leading to more efficient and more profitable altnets. I also, as an aside, asked Matthew what his ambition was, and he said, lots more customers. So the question is, well, rather than doing all this altnet aggregation, well, why don't we just wait for the big consolidation to happen and then interconnect once with the consolidated entity? And the reason that we don't want to do that is because the greatest opportunity in many businesses is during periods of change. And the time to build market share is now, not in 5 years' time when the big consolidation has all happened. Another great reason for doing the work now is this very limited competition in those areas that have not yet been overbuilt. So very recently, we launched Trooli in our direct business, and in the part of Trooli's network that has not yet been overbuilt, and that's a sizable chunk of network, there's only 2 companies that you can buy full fibre broadband from, Zen Internet and Trooli Retail. So who would have thought that little old Zen has got a duopoly in a part of the UK? We can reasonably expect to have a much bigger market share than in those areas that are overbuilt. And it's a great opportunity to collaborate on marketing and including tapping into the marketing funding from the altnets. So the altnets, as you'll all know, are super, super keen to fill up their networks with paying customers. And if you've got a great marketing idea for how to add additional customers onto those altnet networks, then they're all ears and very willing to co-fund those marketing initiatives. In short, mate, hey, while the sun shines, the sun is shining today here in Birmingham, and the sun is shining absolutely in altnet world. So what happens if and when 2 of Zen's altnet aggregation partners consolidate? Absolutely, it's going to happen. Well, number 1, for the first 6 months to a year, Absolutely nothing. Now, joining together two companies, joining together two networks, joining together two system stacks takes a long time, 6 to 12 months of work. There will be a point when, for Zen, we're calling two different APIs to place orders and to manage services. Those will collapse into one API. Fine. Our channel partners and ISPs hardly are going to notice any difference. So that's our ambition. Let's have a bit of a recap about where we are in this, the decade of full fibre. So 1990s, decade of dial-up, 2000s, decade of ADSL, 2010, decade of FTTC, and the 2020s, where we are now, is the decade of full fibre, the last big infrastructure build in our lifetimes. And about 100 altnets realized that this is the big opportunity now. Let's take the great altnet gamble, hoping to get big, get bought, be a niche rural player forever, but the big risk is they might get stranded. They get stranded meaning they get overbuilt before they've got to a viable business, or they just run out of cash. The investors pull the plug. So that's the gamble. If I was to assess the market overall today, I'd say it's an industry under a lot of pressure. Pressure from overbuild, pressure from increased competition, pressure that there's a long road to get to a viable and profitable business, pressure in terms of servicing debts, managing cash, and raising additional funds. This is Andy Conibere, the CEO of Trooli, who said some altnets are in discussions with their banks about their levels of debt. Lenders are carefully prioritizing new altnet debt to be based on very strong financial fundamentals. And of course, there's the pressure of organizational and logistical challenges, things like scaling up a workforce and then having to scale it back down. One person in altnet world said working in an altnet world 1 year is like a dog year. So that's an overview of the market. Because this is Wacky Races, let's have our race results. And this is in order of ready for service premises. Position number 1, way out in front, Openreach. As of today, 17.8 million premises ready for service. And by the end of this month, there's going to be 18 million premises ready for service. Openreach has been a Zen partner since a year dot. Second place, VMO2 and nexfibre, 6.4 million, of which about 4.4 million is VMO2, about 2 million is nexfibre. Third place, CityFibre, 4.1 million RFS, partnered with Zen. Fourth place, Netomnia and Brisk, now 2.2 million RFS. Fifth place, Hyperoptic, 1.7 million. Sixth place, Community Fibre, 1.35 million. Seventh place, Full Fibre and Zzoomm, 600,000. Eighth place, Gigaclear with 593,000. Trooli in ninth place, 417k. And 10th place, F&W Networks with 410k. And I thought since Freedom Fibre are a Zen partner as well, I'd put them on there at 13th place with 315,000 ready for service premises. So when I look at that leaderboard and I talk to the CEOs of these various companies, it definitely feels still like the Wacky Races, although when I compare it to last year, the positions do seem to be getting more established. Let's hear from Nathan Rundle, who's the CEO of Gigaclear. Industry consolidation is widely expected and speculated on, but it's fair to say that no one's quite sure of precisely what it looks like. As the leading rural altnet, we have a strong voice and are in a positive position to play a significant part in the future of the industry. Gigaclear now has 593,000 RFS premises and 140,000 connected customers and growing, which is clear proof of strong demand for ultra-fast full fibre in rural areas. We're on track to be EBITDA positive in 2025. We want to continue to deliver the strong customer growth we've seen in the last year and continue connecting underserved communities with ultra-fast full fibre broadband. We remain laser-focused on connecting rural Britain, work closely with the government to help hit national connectivity targets. We're actively participating in the Gigabit voucher scheme. We're working with Building Digital UK to deliver the government's Project Gigabit programme, and we're underway with our build in Oxfordshire, which will see around 9,500 homes and businesses able to connect to our network. Now let's hear from Graeme Oxby, who is the CEO of Community Fibre. Our RFS real next day connection, if you want it, is 1.35 million. Build is focused on localised infill and B2B connections. Our last publicly reported customer number was 330,000, so take-up is now 25%, with older cohorts at 45%. Ambition is profitability rather than chasing a network size number. Overall, industry seems still to be focused on my network is bigger than yours, when the only important thing is profitable revenue growth, be it direct or wholesale sale or both together. So definitely feeling like the wacky races, but also starting to feel a bit like the full fibre chess game. Jeremy Chelot from Netomnia likes a game of chess in reality, and he said at the end of February 25, we had 2.2 million RFS, growing at circa 1 million a year and 270,000 customers, aiming to finish the year with about 450,000 customers. We have clear ambition to be the UK's largest altnet and are now a clear second in size of network and will be clear second in customers by the end of the year too. My view is that either VMO2, CityFibre or Netomnia will have to consolidate the UK market, and I believe Netomnia is in a very strong position because of the strength of our balance sheet, low leverage, our current growth on RFS and customers, and the strength of the platform. As you know, we are techies, and Jeremy is a software engineer by trade. I still believe that by the end of the decade, there will be either a new national network, altnets led by either Netomnia or CityFibre, or VMO2 would have consolidated us. My bet is on the former. VMO2, CityFibre and Netomnia will be tested this year on their ability to raise additional cash and do transformative M&A. Let's see who delivers. Okay, now let's hear from Nathan Vautier, the CEO of Freedom Fibre, who said consolidation is the single biggest topic and choosing the right company to consolidate with is the difference between success and failure. Sector continues to need to consolidate. Winners and losers will be defined by that. And in terms of Nathan's ambition for Freedom Fibre, he wants Freedom Fibre to be the first choice wholesaler for residential and B2B products, easy to do business with, disruptive product set, and to continue to be an employer of choice. Next up, let's hear from Andy Conibere again, CEO of Trooli, who said that our ambition is commercially sensitive, but it is worth reinforcing that our owners, Vauban, are long-term investors, and unlike much of the market, we continue to build and consider ourselves well-placed and in a strong position for whatever market changes are going to happen in the near and medium-term future. And let's hear from Vauban, Trooli's investors. They said Vauban is a long-term investor, having invested in FTTP since 2009 to develop its FTTP platform in France, covering 14 million RFS today, and in Spain, covering 5 million RFS. Vauban believes size is an important element in the UK market, and Vauban will grow our UK platform organically while considering opportunistically inorganic growth. Vauban's ultimate ambition is clear, however, is deemed sensitive information, so they're not going to tell me. Anyway, let's now look at the top three in reverse order, and number 3 is CityFibre. So CityFibre today has over 1 million RFS, growing at circa 1 million a year. And it's worth mentioning that that 1 million a year has really shifted towards acquisition, away from build, although they're still doing lots of build. Over 550,000 customers on FTTP, over 10k businesses, public sector and mobile sites connected with high-value Ethernet and dark fibre services, and CityFibre claim to be the only challenger with enterprise revenues. In terms of their ambition, to be the UK's third national network and the largest wholesale challenger to Openreach, the supplier of choice to well over 8 million premises, offering the best products, services and pricing over the nation's finest full fibre network. So this is what Greg Mesch, CEO, said. The market will consolidate over the next 2 years and CityFibre will emerge as the third national network. This is because we are not like any other altnet. We're twice the size of our nearest altnet challenger. We're EBITDA profitable. We have very dense, contiguous local network footprints, not thin and fragmented like many other altnets. We're the only network with a mature wholesale channel with Sky on board. Our ISPs now have about 50% broadband market share. Consumer ISPs outperform by a factor of more than 2 their national market share on CityFibre versus Openreach FTTP. Even those altnets with designs on a wholesale model do not recognise the extent to which subscale reach and the prospect of lengthy technical integration limits the interest of the large ISPs. We're the only network with a mature multi-vertical model, trusted to offer high-value connectivity for the enterprise market, and we have more than 865 million in BDUK contracts underpinning rollout to 1.3 million premises. We must remember that for sustainable infrastructure competition to emerge, it must be at the expense of Openreach's market share. This is in the interest of consumers, businesses, and the wider UK economy. Position number 2, VMO2 and nexfibre. And just a reminder of this partnership, VMO2 has 16.2 million urban premises that they are about a quarter of the way upgrading to full fibre. This is their Project Mustang, due to complete in 2028. nexfibre are building a circle in semi-urban and semi-rural premises around that 5 to 7 million, hoping to be done next year, which will give a combined footprint of 23 million by 2028. And here's nexfibre CEO Rajiv Datta, who said, nexfibre passed more than 2 million premises RFS at the end of 2024, and our build programme continues to deliver. We believe we're the second largest alternative fibre platform, yet regardless of relative position on RFS premises month on month, the real focus should be on EBITDA performance to facilitate the servicing of the extensive debts held by many altnets. This is a symptom of the current market structure and demonstrates the need for consolidation into a sustainable model to drive meaningful competition to the incumbent. This year we'll see more pressure on debt financing, which is necessary before consolidation can progress at any significant level. At an infrastructure level, the economics simply do not allow for 3 full-scale national networks to flourish, and that is key for future investment, growth and innovation in the sector. nexfibre is here for the long term, and we see ourselves as the natural home for quality fibre assets and their investors looking for a solution to their challenges. And number 1, Openreach, way out in the lead, 17.8 million RFS, as I said today, 18 million by the end of March. Openreach sees 33 million occupied premises, business and residential in the UK, which means they're now at about 55% coverage of the whole of the UK. This is the 5th quarter that Openreach has built more than 1 million premises, 1.1 million built last quarter, 4.25 to 4.3 million built in the current financial year, and in the next financial year, they're going to build even more. It's the quickest build anywhere in Europe. There's 15,000 people engaged in the build programme, and they are building everywhere. So country by country, England and Scotland are at 50%. Wales is at 60%, almost 90% in Northern Ireland, and they will hit 90% next quarter in Northern Ireland. And the Northern Ireland stat is really interesting because Openreach are saying, we are going to connect to the vast majority of premises. We've done that in Northern Ireland. We're going to replicate that in England, Scotland, and Wales. There's nearly 6.5 million connected customers, so 35% market penetration. Older cohorts are seeing more than 50% market penetration. And the average build cost for Openreach is £300 a premise. So Openreach is spending about £1.3 billion a year on build. Here's Clive Selley, the CEO. We're seeing a change in build by the altnets, with more of the build concentrated in fewer altnets. CityFibre Holdings, VMO2 nexfibre, and Netomnia are now the main builders, with others having slowed down, pivoting from build to provision. There's talk of consolidation, but not huge evidence of it happening. I met Clive a couple of weeks ago, and one thing I asked him, I said, Clive, how do you feel about losing market share? He said, I'm not enjoying it, but we lose very little from FTTP areas. Losses are mainly from non-FTTP areas, so our strategy is to build as fast as we can to fill in those areas. So there's a quick overview in 20 minutes. I want to leave you with a couple of closing thoughts about the full fibre wacky races, or the full fibre chess game. First of all, I've been in this industry 30 years, and this is the best free market infrastructure competition that I've ever seen in that time. And that's brilliant for the UK as a whole. It's brilliant for channel players. There's going to be loads of change between now and the end of the decade, and that is creating a fantastic window of opportunity in the channel. So my message to everyone here today is, the world is your full fibre oyster. So let's make the most of it and enjoy the journey. Thank you very much.